Okay, stop me if this sounds completely insane.
Oh.
Because when you really strip it all away, what we're doing is we're taking an open flame, a literal fire, and carrying it thousands of miles. It crosses oceans, it goes up mountains, it's on airplanes, it runs through rainstorms, and the entire world just sort of collectively agrees to believe that this one specific fire has never, ever gone out.
Well, when you put it like that, it does sound less like a sporting tradition and more like a logistical nightmare.
A nightmare, or a really high-stakes game of don't let the candle die.
Right.
It seems impossible. But here we are. It is February 16th, 2026. The Milano Cortina Games are in full swing. We're watching athletes, hurl themselves down icy mountains. But in the background of all that, there's this flame.
And for these specific games, that fire was lit all the way back on November 26, 2025.
Exactly. Which means, if you're doing the math at home, that fire has been burning for roughly 14 weeks straight?
14 weeks. Through winter, through travel, through everything.
Just existing. So today, that's what I want to unpack. Because I think we all take the eternal flame for granted. We see the highlight reel, but we don't see the chaos, the ancient history, and the surprisingly high-tech science needed to keep a fire burning for months.
And that's what makes this a great deep dive. It's not just sports. It's this mix of Greek mythology, some actually quite heavy 20th century history, and then this layer of modern engineering.
I want to know how it works, and honestly, I want to know about all the times it didn't work.
We are definitely going to get to that. We're going to look at what you're actually watching when you see that torch go by.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Or I guess let's start with the myth. Because I think most people, and I'll include myself in this, assume the Olympic torch relay is this, unbroken tradition going back to ancient Greece.
And that is the first big bubble we have to burst, a very common misconception.
Yeah.
If you went back to 776 BCE, to the original games in Olympia, you would see a fire, yes, but you would not see a relay.
No running from city to city with a torch.
Not at all. Let's look at the ancient roots first, just to see the difference. The games were held in Olympia, which was the site of the largest temple to Zeus.
Right.
And for the ancient Greeks, fire was sacred. They would light a fire at the altar of Zeus to honor him and, crucially, to honor Prometheus.
Prometheus, the titan who stole fire from the gods for humanity.
That's the one. He gave humans knowledge, technology, civilization. So in that context, the flame represented individuality and a connection to the divine. It was a religious ritual.
So it stayed put. It was a stationary anchor at the temple.
Exactly. It was a perpetual fire for the duration of the games, but it didn't go on a world tour.
So if the ancient Greeks didn't do the relay, who did? When did we decide to take this sacred fire and start running it around the globe?
This is where the history gets really, really interesting and frankly a little dark.
Oh.
The modern Olympics restarted in 1896. But for the first few decades, no flame. Nothing. Pierre de Coubertin, the founder, didn't include it.
That feels wrong. Watching the Olympics without a cauldron seems like a birthday party without a cake.
It wasn't until the 1928 Amsterdam Olympics that an architect, a guy named Jan Wills, thought, hey, visually, we need a focal point. So he designed a tower with a flame.
But just a flame, not a relay.
Right. It was just a fire lit at the stadium. I mean, it was gas-powered. A utility company just turned a valve.
A really big pilot light.
Basically. The idea of the relay, the torchbearers, passing the flame from Greece to the host city that was devised for the 1936 Berlin Olympics.
1936 Berlin. Okay, wait. We need to pause there. That's the Nazi Olympics.
It is. And we have to acknowledge that historical reality. The organizer, a man named Karl Diem, came up with the idea. The Third Reich absolutely loved the imagery.
Oh.
They wanted to draw a direct visual line from the ancient glory of Greece to the new German state they were building. That connection of Aryan superiority linked to the classics.
So the symbol of global peace and connection, it started as a propaganda tool.
It did. The very first relay was run from Olympia to Berlin, and it was filmed by Leni Riefenstahl for the propaganda film Olympia. It was designed to look epic. And the uncomfortable truth is, it was visually powerful.
So powerful that it stuck.
So powerful that when the games resumed after World War II, after the 40 and 44 games were canceled, the organizers of the 1948 London Games decided to keep it.
Wow. So they kept the ritual but tried to scrub the ideology.
They did. They realized the symbol had kind of transcended its origin. It became about the act of connection, not the regime that invented it.
Okay, so let's talk about that connection. When we see the torch today, What's the official line? What are we supposed to feel?
Well, according to the International Olympic Committee, the flame represents purity and the positive values mankind associates with fire. Warmth, light, that sort of thing.
And the relay itself.
The relay is about transmitting a message of peace and friendship.
Which goes back to Pierre de Coubertin's vision, right? Even if he didn't start the flame, he started the movement.
He did. Coubertin was very active in the peace movement. His whole vision was that the games would be a way for young people to come together for the betterment of mankind.
So the meaning has shifted. It's not religious anymore. It's about these secular values, brotherhood, understanding.
Exactly.
It's a nice thought. We're taking this fire from the altar of Zeus and turning it into a global group chat for peace. But let's get into the mechanics, because you can't just flick a lighter and say, okay, let's go to Milano.
No, absolutely not. The ritual of lighting the flame is arguably the most ancient thing we still do. It always happens at the ruins of the Temple of Hera in Olympia, Greece.
And no matches.
No matches, no lighters, no flint. They use ancient technology. They use a parabolic mirror.
Okay, I looked this up. It looks like a shiny metal bowl. But unpack the science for me. How does a bowl start a fire?
It's pure geometry. A parabolic mirror is curved in a very specific shape. When sunlight hits that curve, the shape forces every single ray of light to bounce toward one single tiny focal point.
Like the old trick with a magnifying glass and an ant, but on steroids.
Exactly like that, but much more efficient. It concentrates all that solar energy into a point the size of a coin, and the temperature there skyrockets almost instantly.
Wow.
They place a torch with some dry grass right at that focal point, and poof, instant fire from the sun.
It's surprisingly high-tech for being thousands of years old. But here's the question that always bugs me. What if it's cloudy?
Ah, yes.
What if it's overcast in Olympia on lighting day? Do they just say, sorry guys, Zeus says no?
That would be a PR disaster. No, they have a contingency plan. They hold rehearsal days before the main ceremony.
And if the sun is out during rehearsal?
They light a flame using the mirror, and they keep it. It's the backup flame.
The backup flame, I like it.
So if the actual ceremony is rainy, they don't pull out a Zippo. They use the flame that was properly lit by the sun a few days earlier. It ensures the lineage is still pure.
Okay, so we have the fire. It's lit. Now it has to go from Olympia to Athens and then on to the host country. And this is where the logistics get wild.
Weeks, sometimes months. The duration really varies. London 2012 was pretty short, about 72 days. But the Athens 2004 relay, that was a beast, 142 days.
142 days. How do you make sure it doesn't go out? I mean, really?
This is the secret I love, and it's something you never see on TV. The flame you see the runner holding. It's not the only flame.
It's not.
No. At the initial lighting in Olympia, they don't just light one torch. They create multiple mother flames.
Mother flames. This sounds very sci-fi.
It does, doesn't it? These are backup flames kept in special enclosed lanterns. And they're not just camping lanterns. They use miner's lamps.
Wait, miner's lamps? Like from 1800s coal mines?
Yes. A Davy lamp, specifically. Think about it. A coal mine has explosive gases, drafts, chaos. A Davy lamp is designed to keep a flame burning safely, and, most importantly, it's designed to be windproof.
The ultimate windproof box.
Exactly. So they take these mother flames, put them in these heavy-duty miner's lamps, and load them into a security vehicle that follows the relay.
So there's a team of people just watching these lanterns in a van?
A team of security guards, often called the keepers of the flame. They watch until Joyful Feven. Their entire job is protect the flame. If a runner's torch goes out, the van pulls up, they open the lamp, and they relight it.
But the torch the runner actually holds is different. It has to look cool.
Right. That's a piece of serious engineering.
Yeah.
Every host country designs their own, but the internals are pure function. They usually use a mix of propane and butane.
Like a barbecue.
Similar idea.
Yeah.
If you look closely at a modern Olympic torch, you don't see a flickering candle flame. You see a jet. It burns hot and aggressive. It can withstand winds up to 40 or 50 miles per hour. It can withstand rain.
It's a blowtorch disguised as a sculpture.
Basically, yes.
Okay, so we have propane jet engines, mother flames in a van, guards with miner's lamps, but things still go wrong. I know they do.
Oh, absolutely. Snafus happen. The most common enemy is just weather. Even a propane torch has its limits.
I read about a guy, Tony Bykirk, a torchbearer.
Yes, poor guy. The wind blew his torch out not once but twice during his 400-meter run.
You have one job. That has to be so embarrassing.
It must be stressful. But that's where the system works. Security just steps in with the mother flame from the van, and they relight it. The lineage is repaired immediately.
But what about when they don't use the mother flame? There has to be a story there. Human nature says someone always tries to fix it themselves.
Oh, there's a legendary story from the 1976 Montreal Summer Olympics. This is the ultimate don't do this moment.
Okay, what happened?
So the flame was already in the stadium cauldron. The games are underway. But Montreal gets hit with this massive rainstorm, a deluge. And the flame in the main cauldron, it sizzles out.
Oh no, disaster.
Total panic. So picture this. You're a security guard. You're standing there soaking wet, and you look up and realize the holy fire of Zeus is dead on your watch.
What did he do?
In a moment of pure panic, he reached into his pocket, whipped out his cigarette lighter, probably a Bic, and just clitched it.
Oh!
He relit the Olympic cauldron with his pocket lighter.
You're kidding? He relit the sacred flame of antiquity with a disposable lighter.
He did. And you can imagine the reaction from the organizers when they found out. They were horrified.
Put it out. That's not the sacred fire. That's Steve's lighter fluid.
Exactly that. They had to immediately extinguish it, bring in the official miner's lamp with the real backup flame, and relit it properly.
That's incredible.
And it seems to be a human instinct. A similar thing happened in Sochi in 2014. A torch went out, and a security guard just flicked his lighter to help out.
It's not always an accident, though, right? Sometimes people want the flame to go out.
Yes. The flame is a symbol, and symbols attract protest. The 2008 Beijing Olympics is the prime example. That relay was incredibly contentious.
I remember seeing clips of this. The Paris leg looked like a riot.
It was chaotic. Pro-Tibetan protesters were lunging at the torchbearers, trying to throw water on it. It got so dangerous that the guards had to extinguish the flame voluntarily, twice, just to get it through the crowd safely.
They put it out themselves.
For safety. They basically said, this isn't working, snuffed the torch, put it on a secure bus, and drove it to the next safe point. It just shows that while the flame represents peace, the real world doesn't always cooperate.
So assuming it survives all that, the wind, the rain, the lighters, the protests, it lights the cauldron. It burns for 2 weeks, and then it's over.
The closing ceremony is the other bookend. Just as lighting the cauldron starts the games, extinguishing it signals the official end.
And they've gotten really creative with that lately.
They've made it theatrical. In Rio 2016, they had manufactured rain fall in the cauldron to put it out.
Very dramatic.
In Tokyo 2020, the cauldron was shaped like a flower, and the petals mechanically closed up to snuff the fire.
And Paris 2024 was the zero carbon one, which was just LED lights and mist.
Right, they just turned it off. But the symbolism was the same.
It's a poignant moment. The party is officially over. The magic lifts.
Exactly, a return to normalcy.
So, to zoom out for a second, we've gone from Prometheus stealing fire to a propane jet engine. From parabolic mirrors in ancient Greece to miners' lamps in the back of a van on a highway.
It really is a bridge. When you think about it, that flame, or the idea of it, connects 776 BCE directly to 2026. And it connects Italy, in this case, to the rest of the world. It's a thread through history, even the dark parts.
It's weirdly comforting, isn't it, that we're still so mesmerized by a flickering light, we still guard it like it's the most precious thing on earth?
It speaks to something primal in us. Fire is survival, fire is community.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on, and it's something the sources kind of hinted at. We talked about how for the ancient Greeks this was deeply religious. For Zeus, today we say it's secular. It's about sports and peace. But think about it. In an era where we're all glued to our phones, so digitally disconnected from the physical world, has this secular ritual actually become a new form of global religion? Every 4 years, billions of people stop what they are doing to stare at the exact same fire. We treat it with a reverence we don't give to almost anything else. We build temple stadiums for it. We have priests, the athletes. Maybe it's not so secular after all.
That is a powerful thought. It forces us all to pause and look at the same light. It's the one moment where the world actually shares a hearth.
Something to think about while you watch the highlights from Milano this week. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Stay curious.